Good afternoon. Welcome back. Alright, I know it's been a bit of a while since I've put a video up. I've been pretty busy. Lots of stuff to do. And part of it, you might see behind me, I've been doing a fair bit of work on my Pajero. Particularly the setup inside the Pajero. So as you can see, I've got a few new items here. And just a quick chat, just to let you know what I've been up to and some of the videos that's coming up soon. So I'm going to give you a bit of a hint today on some of the videos that I'll be releasing soon. Hey, FJ Camping and Touring, my buddy. Hey, Steve. How you going, Steve? Thought I'd do a live video. Seeing I've been so busy of late. Basically, I haven't put out any videos because Jack Turtle, sweet, how you going? Seeing I haven't put any videos out for a while because I've been so busy and it's taken, and honestly guys, the editing part of it takes so long, so I thought, well, just out of the blue, why not put up a live video and show you some of the stuff, what I've been up to of late, why I haven't put up any videos for 3 weeks. So basically the past 3 weeks, I've been flat out busy doing some upgrades inside this Pajero. And boy, has it taken a long time. Most of it, I've just kind of been making it up as I go along. So I'll do one step. I had a pretty good idea what I wanted to do. So basically, I've upgraded to the lithium battery. So I got the iTech World 120X, which is a 120 amp lithium battery. So far it's performing flawlessly. Tongue twister, flawlessly. So, hey, for Craig from Ballenden, I was wondering where you had gone. Yeah, I'm still here, Craig. Like I said, I've just been flat out, just been so busy. Right? I've just been spending the last, about 13, 14 days just flat out working on this thing here. So I've got a few changes in my Pajero and I want to show you a bit of a hint of what's coming up. So I'm going to have some videos out on this. I just need to film and then edit them first. So I figured I'm going to do a quick video and show you what I've been doing on this. We won't go too much into detail, although who knows, probably could end up. So yeah, all right, so what I'll do is I'll flick the camera around. 5-star camping and cooking outback adventures. Hey, how you going? We need to catch up too. Is your truck for sale now? No, this truck's not for sale, mate. No way. I love this Pajero. This Pajero is awesome. It's perfect for me. So I'm going to be keeping this one for quite a while, eh? No plans of selling this thing for sure. So I'm going to show you what's in the back of my Pajero. It's entirely different to the last time what you've seen. You wanted to sell it, Jack. You wanted to buy it, Jack. And its charger at the Prado made a world of difference. Let's put the iTech World brand. So, you know, I'm not loyal to one brand or another. And the Prado was one of the vehicles at the time when I was looking to buy a 4-wheel drive 3 years ago. The Prado was one of the vehicles I was looking at getting. So around that size. But guys, this thing came up and it was a good bargain too. And I'm really happy with it because this thing is so good on fuel. I had a guy come over here the other day and he had one of those real big Nissan Patrols. And because he came down to pick up some gear I was selling. And he was telling me he was getting like 18 litres per 100 Ks or something. And this thing here, average, in the last 3 years I've owned this. So this is the average, including city driving, the whole works, the whole lot. 11 litres per 100 Ks is all I go through on this. So it's got a diesel. It's a little I wouldn't say it's little. It is a 4-cylinder, but it's turbo. So it's got plenty of get up and go. And it does really good in the soft sand. I'm quite amazed how well this thing does in the soft sand. Love your vlogs, mate, especially your cooking. Yeah, I've been a bit slack with the cooking videos of late, so I need to get out, tidy up the back the back here, that's another thing. I've been doing some work on the house as well. So I've just been flat out, guys. So I figured instead of doing, oh, my arm's getting sore. I figured instead of doing a step-by-step video, because I particularly on what I'm going to show you here briefly. So instead of doing an install video, where honestly I really did, I was kind of making this up as I was building it. So I had a bit of an idea of what I was going to do at the back here. So I basically did one section, and then I thought, okay, and I sat down on the chair and I just had a drink, and I just thought, now if I did that, if I did this, you know, imagine I'm out camping, you know, would that be a good spot to put this? Would that be a good spot to put that and that? And that's another thing. Yes, Dave, you have been picking the brains of the Victron channel. Yes, you're obviously in the Victron fans page, are you? I have been. Yes, I've been asking for some advice there on the Victron channel, because quite frankly, I just could not get I just could not get the help that I needed here in Bundy for some reason. Electricians, okay, we'll get to that shortly, but for some reason electricians here in Bundy, well, number one, they're just flat out, because there's a booming trade that's just going on in Bundy. A lot of you southerners are moving up here to Bundy to live, and I don't blame you with what's been happening down in south there. So we got full freedom here, guys. It's like nothing's happening. Everything's just full freedom up here, particularly where I live. We don't even need to wear a mask. So we can go out, wear a mask. We can go out, do basically whatever we want, just about. So, in saying that, I'm still being very careful. But let me flick this camera around. I'll show you. Still a little bit of a mess in there, but it's not too bad. It's mostly completed. I'll show you what I've been up to of late. Now, just bear with me, guys. Just got to work out how to flick this camera around. Hopefully I won't lose this. I did use this app a couple of times. And how do we do this? Okay. What's this button do? Hang on. Chat. No. Flip camera. That might help. Hey, there you go. There you go. All right. So you can see, I've removed the drifter drawers. As good as those drawers are, they're absolutely brilliant. But I had them in this vehicle for 3 years. I never thought it'd come to the day where I would get rid of them. But I've come to the conclusion that they're too big for me. As great as it is, it just took up too much room. I needed more room so I could put my tarps, my e-scooter. You've already seen I've got the e-scooter. I needed more room for that. I needed higher volume area, especially for this new little product here that some of you wouldn't see. A Victron Energy. Okay, what that is a multi-plus compact. So let me give you a quick reason why I've gone for that. So basically, hang on, let me turn the screen on. So basically, because I went for lithium, I needed a new, inverter, and I needed a new AC charger. And because I was going to a lot of Victron, all the Victron gear, I figured that, because if we have a look over here, you see there's the Turbo GX there, circuit breakers there, and that's a Victron 4G LTE. Some of you probably know what that is, a lot of you will not. Of course, we've got the Victron battery monitor here as well. We've got the Victron touchscreen, which is actually goes through the Turbo GX. I've got 240 volt outlets here as well, and I've still got the DC hubs. On the other side of that board, it basically looks exactly the same as what it did before. There's no change there. So everything is all powered off, except for that one, of course, through that DC hub. That there, because it's such a big inverter, I cannot power that through the DC hub, so it connects straight to the battery. But the negative is still going through this fella here, and it's also going through this is picking up. It's turned off right now, but if it was turned on, we've got all this information here. Sorry guys, there's a bit of sun flare there. Now, this was only completed yesterday. The final stages of this build with the 240 volt wiring was only completed late yesterday. And I did put it to quick test last night. I got my induction cooker out and I plugged it in. Even with just a single lithium battery, it worked flawlessly. So I did a bit of a cook up. 9 minutes, I cooked the meal for 9 minutes. I set my inverter on 1000 watts. And in 9 minutes, this single lithium battery dropped down from 100% down to 90%. So then I plugged in my AC charger, I plugged in the power point. If you have a look here, I've now got access. So I've also installed this. So I've got a Caravan, what they call a Caravan 15 amp 240 volt input. I got that mounted externally on the vehicle as well. So it's a 15 amps, you got the 15 amp fuse here. I got this, what they call this, Frebian or something, Max something. I picked this up at Bunnings. Regulations is when you plug in the 15 amp, if you want to plug this into a household or 10 amp outlet, you have to use something like this. So not only that, it's got an excellent safety feature where it's got another RCD circuit breaker here. So this plugs into 10 amps. Okay, RCD circuit breaker. So even though it's 15 amp, and another good feature, that's the beauty I love about this Multiplus. Hear that name, Multiplus, multi. It's got a lot of multi, which means it's got a lot of features on this thing, guys. So I need to basically do a video just on that. But this thing here, it just rocks. All the boaties out there, the yachties, liveaboards, they use stuff like this, okay, for their power. And they need something reliable. So it's got a 5-year guarantee. All this Victron stuff's all 5-year guarantee. So I figured instead of purchasing a separate AC charger and purchasing a separate inverter, why not get one of these that's got everything built into one? Now it's a bit more work. Well, actually it's a lot more work setting it up, installing it, because as you can see, you need an electrician to wire it up. So you got to see it's got the switchboard at the back there, it's got the circuit breakers, so it's earthed to the chassis of the car. So it's an awesome setup, but I'm going to do a video on that guy there. But part of the feature of this, guys, I'm shooting right into the sun, so hopefully you can see this. Alright, so if I go into screen and go into the menu, and then it may not come up because I don't have the inverter. Hang on, let me switch this fella on. It'll go to inverter. You see it just kicked into inverter. Okay, so it's inverting now, although I don't have anything plugged in. But I can go in here, see the input current limit. I can change that. So I can go plus, so I can put that, so I'm at a caravan park and I'm plugging into straight into a 15 amp. I can put that back up to 15 amps, so I can control the input, the maximum amps that goes into this. So, and you can see here, it's on standby, so it's virtually just drawing that amount when it's on standby if you leave it on. There is features on this thing where you can actually set it up so that it actually shuts down, but it monitors. So if you plug something into here and turn it on, it'll switch on. And when you set that up, it hardly uses any power whatsoever. So of course through here as well, I can actually switch this on and off through here. Now this is, I can connect to this system, I can connect to it remotely anywhere in the world. So I can actually connect to this on my phone or a computer and switch that inverter or charger on and off and change the settings, etc. And if there's any issues whatsoever, it's actually got an alarm built in, and I actually set it off this morning, came up with an alarm. Let me see if it's still got the error code. Alarm status. Okay, these are all the alarms you can set. Alarm setup. Device. I'm not sure how. Okay, I'm not sure where I go to access the. Alright, because I remember, guys, I only just started using this yesterday. So I'm still working out. There's the BMW 712. Battery temperatures, fuel tanks, so you can set it up so it monitors how many litres of fuel you got in your either tank, fresh water, etc. Sensors as well. Pajero carb, I've got a temperature gauge that's inside the cab that shows what temperature is. So it's a pretty warm day up here. Inside the vehicle it's 25 degrees Celsius. That's my smart solar charger, etc. So lots of info. Go back to the pages. You see it's inverting right now. So it's on standby, so she's drawing 7 watts. So if I plug this in, now also this here I can charge up to 80 amps per hour. I can put back into lithium. So as you know, the iTech World 120X, although you can charge it at 80 amps, is not the best for it. So they suggest between 20 to 50. So I went into the settings and changed that down to 50 amps. And boy, I tell you what, yesterday when I did that test, when I got my induction little cooker out here, I actually did that cooking for 9 minutes. It dropped down the battery 10%. And then I plugged in the power point, the charger came on, and within 15 minutes it was fully charged. So it's unbelievable how quick this thing charges at 50 amps. It's awesome. That's the beauty with the lithium. So, still got the kick-ass fridge. I put the fridge cage back on it, not the cover. Not so it needs it, just because I'm sick and tired of just looking at a bare white fridge all the time. So I just wanted something different to look at. So I put this back on here. I've got a new kick-ass heavy-duty fridge slide. Now this was given to me by Kick-Ass. As long as I do an install video and a review video. And they gave me this about 3 weeks ago, and the deal was I had to do those videos within 4 weeks. So I'm going to be busy doing some videos on this setup within the next week. So, and this one here, what I love about this, I've got a pull-out table here. And that's really, really good. My induction cook sits perfectly on here. And that's one really good thing. That's one thing I'm really going to miss with not having a drifter drawer in here. It's that pull-out table. So many times I just came in here, pulled that table out and just used it as a workbench, whatever, make me coffee, etc. So at least I've got something here. Now guys, you can see I've got no drawers in here. What I might do, I'm going to see how I go. I've got boxes and so on that I used to use when I go camping, etc. So I'll have one box for my kitchen gear, another box for this, that, and all that. And I've got all this space here, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I thought about maybe having a little drawer system here, so I can have cutlery, utensils, a fry pan or something in there. Or I could also mount the travel buddy on top here as well. So considering that. And I'm thinking I might even make a little drawer in here. Okay, nothing too high. I don't want anything too high. Just something low. Just a little drawer just to have my cutlery and stuff like that, whatever. You know, like the kitchen setup. So I might end up doing that one day. So it's only going to be about 40 centimetres wide by about 900 metres. No, 900 metres. God, that'll be a big drawer. By 900 mils long. And probably only about so high. Just very narrow. But you can see all this storage room I've got here now. So that's awesome. So, this fridge slide, I've done some mods to it. Because this is the second kick-ass fridge slide that I've owned. And one thing I didn't like about it was the fact that you got these separate latches that you have to push down this latch and push down that latch. And you got this little tiny little handle here to grab to pull all that weight out, and you could not open this with one hand. Well, look at this now, guys. Boom. See how easy that is? And the same, and close it one hand. And that's it. As simple as that. And it makes it easy too. It grabs like a handle. Now, this is not my idea. This is a mate of mine, Keith Surf. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He came over one day and he gave me a bit of a hand to install the fridge slide, help me build some of these timber units here. And he says, I got an idea how we can rectify this, because he doesn't own a kick-ass drawer, but he's got something similar. I'll tell you what, one thing we found is they say this is a heavy-duty fridge slide, and I can tell you what, we can vouch it is a heavy-duty fridge slide because I don't know how many drill bits we went through just to drill through that stainless steel here. None of my drill bits could get through it. We literally spent an hour trying to drill through it. So Keith had to go home and grab his drill bit. And he had this U-Butte black drill kit or something. And even with that, it was a struggle to drill through it. But it got through, and thank God. And then we just pop riveted on. And you can see how well that works. There's just a bit of angle line. Cheap angle line and pick up a Bunnings. And then I got the table to pull out here. So, loving this setup, guys. And what makes it so much better, guys, now is look at this. I can actually gain access inside my fridge. Ooh, what's that down there? Ooh, can you see that? What's that look like? A bit of Great Northern. And of course some yummy Cadbury chocolate and some water. So, but I can now gain access to my fridge without having to use a ladder to climb up. Used to be right up here somewhere. You know, my tippy toes, I couldn't see what's inside the fridge. Oh, I hated that. So I've always wanted to get this thing down low. So, now guys, if I didn't have that mod here, and tell you now, there's no way in the world I'd be able to open this out and show you for you, because I've got one hand holding the camera. So, I don't know if there's any more I can see. Oh yeah, I've had a few people ask me, how did you fit this kick-ass 75 litre fridge inside their fridge cage? Because it's too low. Okay, You see what I've done here. I've got a bit of 40 by 40 mil timber, painted it black, and it's just bolted straight through, right through this floor. So this floor here is a false floor. I built this, and I put the carpet, stuck the marine carpet on the top. So this here, I cut it to shape to fit in here, built all this. I also rerouted a lot of the cables. So I used to always have the cables just hanging out through a door or through a crack of the window, and you come in, you pull out the cables in the way, push them away. So you can see what I've done here. So to pull out all these plastic, all the internals of the plastic in the vehicle, and I've just put them. Now these are not finished. I'm going to take these off, and I've got some special UV covered sleeve that I'm going to wrap around these. But that's going straight up to my rooftop tent, so that will be left permanently wired in. Now I haven't powered this in yet, same as my reverse camera, and I relocated the reverse camera back to up here. I found this is the best spot for the reverse camera, up high looking down. So now I've got no cables in the way, except for this thing here. This here, check that out. Some of you guys are into Victron and probably know what this is. But doesn't that look like a battery connector of some sort? Yes, it is a battery connector, but that's not what it's used for, guys. This here is a temperature monitor. So it's some clever, it's really technical, some clever idea that Victron has come up with. Hopefully that's focused. That puts through a certain amount of voltages through this. Now I can hold that, I'm not going to get zapped or anything. So it puts in through a certain amount of voltage through here. And basically I believe the way these work is, as the conditions change, the temperature changes, it varies the voltage that goes through here. It's quite clever. And then that works out, I don't know how, but it's like a little computer chip or something inside here. That's why it's so thick there. And that then works out your temperature. And it's very accurate. Apparently it's very accurate. So, and it's awesome to have, because it's going to be really handy to have this. Now this, I didn't pay for this. This was included with this Multi-Plus. Because if you're going to pay one of these are not cheap, just this here. I think they're about $45 for each one. And you can see I can connect as many as 4 or 5 of these through my Serbo GX. So, and again, all the info from that Serbo GX, all the info, everything here, the charge rate, the everything, whatever I do is all being uploaded to a portal, even as I sit here now. It does that 24 hours a day through that 4G Telstra. I've got Telstra SIM card, so it works on 3G, well, it works on 2G, 3G or 4G. We know there's no 2G anymore. I think 3G is coming out, but it works on 4G. And it works really well. It's awesome. So every minute it's sending data up to a portal. If you go back some of my videos, you can actually see the video. You can see a video where I talk about the Victron management portal. Now it's also got this, and that's another reason why I went for this as well. Because when I got this Serbo GX, it came with this cool section up the top here, and I always wondered, geez, how do you access that? Can you get any inverter and plug in here? No, this section here only works with the Victron Multi-Plus. So you can see it's now showing it's inverting there. But if I plugged in the charger, it'll come up here and show me how many watts is pulling in from the shore power, or household or caravan socket, whatever you got it plugged into. And when you got something plugged into the AC loads, it'll show that as well. And the beauty with this too, even though it's got the inverter, if you're plugged in the caravan park and you get your induction cooker out and you got this connected, okay, to the power outlet, it bypasses the inverter. All right, doesn't go through the inverter. It goes straight through 240 volts, straight through. Now, if the power happens to go out, or you unplug the 240 volt lead outside, bang, the inverter kicks in then. The inverter takes over. And vice versa. I plug it back in, bang, goes straight through. Now the beauty is, if you got a real big load, something huge, you want to power off this, and then you'll say, like I am, just plugged into 10 amp. So, you know, I've got it plugged into 10 amp, and mine I've got the input connected only to 10 amp maximum as well. Well, that's the maximum it's going to draw. So I did that for safety reasons. Guys, this is all about safety. This is very safety. I'm very safety conscious. So I want to make sure this is all done right. Hence why it took me time. There's a lot of studying, finding the people in the know of what they're doing. And the biggest challenge was actually finding an electrician that would wire all this up. Man, that was a challenge. I've been looking for 3 weeks. And just out of the blue, I just asked the electrician guy who came here, because we installed this. Got a new aircon in the house. This huge inverter Mitsubishi. And I asked the electrician guy, mate, have a look at this, can you wire this up for me? Yeah, sure, no problems. And he did straight away. Oh, I'm so relieved. So relieved, I can't tell you. So relieved to finally have this powered up. So that's the beauty with this. But say you got something powerful you want to plug into this, and it's going to draw 15 amps. But I'm only plugged in, but I only got this set to input 10 amps, and I'm only plugged into a household 10 amp power point. Soon as it records that it needs the extra amps, gets it from the battery. It takes the extra load from the battery, boom, and adds it in there. So that's another feature. And another feature, if I plugged in through the AC, and I've got my induction cooker on, and it's running through, and it's going through, if it's not using up all the power on this, and there's still power left over, it'll direct the excess power through here and charge the battery as well. And it's very quick. Can't tell you how quick this is to charge. So you can see it's got a draw there now, 4.6 amps. DC power, it's putting out 47 watts. The fridge is running at the moment because I opened it up. So, and I got the freezer running in here as well too. So the fridge is running. Now normally it doesn't run on 4.6 amps. So this thing here is drawing some of the power. So if I turn, now I can turn this off through here, I can turn this off on the phone, etc. But I've turned this off over here. You can see that immediately dropped down to 3.6 amps. Which is about what this fridge draws, usually draws about 3 amps when it runs. But because it's got such thick insulation, I just got a message pop through from someone I haven't heard for a while. I'll have to get back to him. But because it's got such thick insulation, this fridge, and because I got this, I can go back to the data and check. This fridge would run 15 minutes and it'll be off for about half an hour, 35 minutes, and then it'll run 15 minutes again, and then sometimes it'll be fine for 40-45 minutes or whatever. Cable management needs a bit of attention. Oh, this is just loose. I've been purposely hiding. I'm not showing you behind here, guys, because there is a bit of a mess there. It's not too bad. Well, heck, what the hell, I'll show you. Cable management, all I've done so far is just got some zippy tied and tied the wires together. Okay, and just bunched them up behind here. Now I've got all the products to do it. I've just been busy, and remember it was only late yesterday this was finished being built. I might as well show you. Okay. Does that impress you, Ian? It's better than what it was. You should have seen, mate. That was all over here. So guys, these cables way too long. Eventually I'm going to make up my own network cable, so it's just long enough and a little bit longer to reach this here. Some of these cables I'll need to remake up, get a lot shorter as well. Even some of the DC cables, because eventually what I'm doing, I want 200 amps in here, even though this single 120 amp has seemed to be doing the job for me. I do want a 200 amp in here, lithium. And when I do that, then I'm going to shorten some of these cables so they're nice and neat, etc. So that for now, what I'm thinking about is having like a little partition board come across here to hide what's behind there, and then have something here. Probably this would be a good spot to mount the travel buddy. So, or even now that I've got an induction, or even not a travel buddy, I've got like a little 240 volt oven, and you can set it up to temperatures of something like 220, 230 degrees. So you switch it on, it just poof, comes on straight away. Now I'm not too sure what it draws. This here is 2000 VA, which is around 1600 watts inverter. Okay, so I went for this one because if I went for a bigger one, it was like twice the weight. And that's another thing of this part of this build, is try to reduce the weight down. And it was a lot bigger box. So, and you can see I was struggling for room just to fit this in. I had to lay it on its side. Now there's no problem laying this on the side. This particular one here you can lay on the side, and a lot of people use this in caravans and yachts and so on, and they install them laying on the side. So it's got fans in here, but not once have I heard the fans come on yet. But I'm sure once it gets to summertime, it's probably going to run those fans there. But they've got like a couple of computer fans in here, but like I said, they haven't been running yet. So, brilliant unit. Absolutely loving it. You see I've got the circuit breakers there. So, back in the day. No, it looks what Qantas left. Box those cables in with ply. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, because honestly I don't think I'm going to be able to arrange this. They're too long. I don't think I'm going to arrange them nice and neatly like you see other people do, because it's just too much there. So I'm going to finish tidying up. I've still got some loose stuff here, so I'm going to finish tidying that up, and I'll have to run this through behind, drill a little hole there and run this cable through there, and stick another board just along here. It'll come up to about here, because I still want to be able to gain some sort of access to that if need be. So I'm thinking of doing that, and if I do that, then all you see is the top part basically, and then that'll be fine. That one there, I'm going to relocate it to over here somewhere, probably at the back there, so you won't see that. And maybe a nice little sign along there or something, I don't know. Wouldn't mind a nice little timber sign, emblem or something, an emblem, a logo, a sticker made up. It'd be nice to go across there. So, yeah. So it's basically, in some ways, it's very similar to how I had set up, particularly that. If you saw the other side, it's exactly the same as what it looks like before. The cable's a lot more neater and tidier there. I've rerouted a lot of those cables to keep it tidy. So I don't know if I'll show you down this end. There's a bit of a mess down there too, but it's not too bad. It's not as messy as here. Just that, like I said, the cables are all too long. Because, I mean, look at it, guys. It's only like virtually a foot away from it. But in saying that, I still want to be able to, so if I could take this off, I can pull that out. Because that's what I'll have to do. When I put another lithium, a 200 amp, I'm kind of regretting that I did put the lithium inside that third seat wheel down here. Although I did cut a hole through here so I can access the battery and the terminals through there. But I'm kind of wishing now that after I built this, that I just had a false floor on here and mounted the battery there. You can get a DCS 200 amp that'll fit in there perfectly, and it'll be out of the way, have no problems. If I ever had a problem and I need to access it, it's right there. Boom. Right now, if I need to access this battery, I'll take it out. It's going to be a shit of a job. I'll have to unplug some of these cables. I'll have to remove this. Mine, it's not too bad. There's only three bolts holding this on to the side here. So take that out. I got this false floor bolted down to the floor, the chassis. So all I gotta do is undo those bolts, and hopefully then all I could do is get someone to help me is just lift this up, and then I'll pull that battery out, put it back down, and then that's it. Gonna leave it, and then I'm gonna make a shelf here and put the battery there, because there's plenty of room to fit the battery down there. So I figured that'll be a really good spot. Perfect. I've already got the brackets and the timber for that shelf. So yeah. Now I don't know, let's have a look and see if there's any questions here. I'll turn the screen back on. So let me see, is box those cables in with ply. Looks like Qantas left us to sort out the Brisbane International Airport back in the day. Oh yes, shorter cables with nice cable management will look real professional and not hidden. I totally 100% agree. So this is going to be temporary right now until I decide whether I'm going to get another kick-ass battery, or just go and get the 200 amp DCS. Just cut the excess away. Yeah. Hello Neil, how you going? How much was the screen? Gosh, I only bought that last week. $2.99. Not cheap, is it? $2.99 for this screen, guys. In fact, here in Bundy, I bought this locally in Bundy. Here in Bundy, we've got a place. You know, it's funny. A few weeks ago, I was watching Olympic Games on the weekend, and this ad popped up about this mob called Solar and Sat here in Bundy. Now, I've kind of heard of them before, but they used to be just a very small outfit, just a small mob, with a workshop no bigger than a garden shed, 3 metre by 3 metre garden shed when I went past in Gingin. And I didn't know, apparently they moved into Bundy. And they popped up, and apparently they're a Victron dealer. So I thought that, and I thought, oh wow, you're kidding. I thought, wow, I'm going to go there, because I figured when I bought this, I would have had to, I was prepared to go drive down to Brisbane to go buy one. Okay. But then I thought, oh, I couldn't wait. Monday morning, I said, as soon as I open, I'm going to go there, see what they got. So I went there on the Monday, and this was like nearly 4 weeks ago, guys. I actually picked this up. And it's only just started working. You know, it's only just connected it yesterday. It's only just running, well, last night actually, late last night, after purchasing it nearly 4 weeks ago. And I went there, and I'll be buggered, they had them in stock. And I said to the guy, well, I can get this for so much down in Brizzy. I said I can get this cheaper even if I pay for the freight to drive there and come back. And he asked me, how much? I said, how much? And he said, I'll do you the same deal. Cool, sold. And they've been really good. These guys have actually been helping me out as much as they can. Unfortunately, they couldn't help me out with the electrician, because the electrician they use, he just didn't want to seem interested at all. In fact, I wasn't very happy with this dude. I don't know, I can't remember his name yet, but the electrician they used, I had an appointment to see him, and he didn't rock up. He didn't turn up. He left me waiting for 1 hour, and to this day I've never heard from him. So, and apparently someone told me he's like that, does that. He just doesn't like working on these 240 volts in vehicles, caravans, etc. and so on, apparently. And it seems that pretty much all of them in Bundy are like that. Although I found one yesterday that was prepared to do it. And I recently found another one that was down in Yandina, and I thought I had to drive down to Yandina. But there was another electrician that's came up recently that I've been chatting to quite a fair bit, and he seems really, really experienced in this. And he's been helping me out as well, but he's been so busy. And I've been chatting him before, so in fact, I think he's going to come around on Saturday or the weekend just to double check this and make sure everything's working. He's got an RCD circuit tester to make sure it's going to be, it's 100% safe. So I'm not going to use it a lot until I know for sure. But the guy was here yesterday. He is an electrician. He did connect it to the regulations and so on. But I just want to know, I just want to confirm that 100% it's working, because you got to be very careful. It's not like a house, because this is a vehicle. It's got tyres on it. So the big issue is to make sure the earth is done properly. If the earth is done properly on this, you're going to have no problems. It's very, very safe. Very safe. So just make sure, and I'm pretty sure it is. He did do some tests, and he found a good earthing point, and he earthed it to the vehicle, and it seems fine. And I'm still here. I haven't been electrocuted when I was testing it last night, so it's all fine. And I've been putting it on the charge, so it's a relief. I don't have to put my solar panel out. And that's another thing too, guys. The solar panel, that Safari 250 watt solar panel, it's shit itself. It stopped working, guys. I plug it in and it won't last more than 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to get on to Safari while it's still under warranty. I think it came with a 2-year warranty. It's 1.5 years old. I don't know what's wrong with it. Works fine. One day, go to use it, boom. To be honest, I never used it a lot. In fact, this battery monitor, I've owned it for a little while now. This is one of the second Victron item that I've purchased before I got the Victron MPPT solar regulator. That one there I've owned for about 4 or 5 years. And the amount of data that this thing gathers, info, is quite remarkable. And I was going through all the data there the other day through this here. Or is it in here? I think it's inside here. And some of the data is transferred into this as well. But I was going through this here. And it came up for a graph. No, that's right. It was actually through this. It came up with a graph. Let me see if I can find it. This is a really interesting graph that I just spotted last night. History. All right, this is the history since if I could show you this graph. I'll have to remember how I found it now. There was a section in here. Oh, hang on. It wasn't in there. It's in the Smart Solar controller. So you can see as you know, I've owned this for like 5 years. Look at the system yield. Literally like almost 78 kilowatts it's produced. Total yield, I don't know what that means and all that. Don't know what that is. It's never had any errors. Overall history. Is it in here? No. I'm pretty sure there's the graph in here. Well, it came up this graph because it's in here somewhere. Because I that MPPT solar regulator is connected 100% to my system in the past basically 5 years since I owned it. I found a menu in here. I think it's linked through, it might be on the portal. It might be, I think so, it might have been going, might need to go to the portal to bring it up, because I was looking through that last night. But it showed me a percentage of the solar panel that was used, consumed, and it was 20%. So in 5 years, of all the times that this has been charged, there's only 20% of the time was used by the solar panel. The rest are mostly it's a DC-DC. Predominantly, I keep my batteries charged with my DC-DC. Now I've got the Red Arc 25 amp DC-DC, but I want to up it to a 50 amp. I think the 25 now is not enough for the Lithium for what setup I got. So one day I will sell that and I'll get the 50 amp one. And I think once I got the 50 amp one, it's going to be magic, guys. It's going to be magic. It's a big difference in amount of time it takes to charge a battery at 25 amps compared to 50 amps. And of course, remember with the lithium battery, I can't believe how long I've been on here, 51 minutes, guys. This was going to be a short video. The lithium battery accepts 100. It loves energy. The more energy you can put in it, it'll take it right through to its 100%, not like an AGM. Most of you guys are watching this that know all this, so I don't know why I'm explaining it anyway. But some of you probably don't, might watch it in the future. Because after this is live, I'll re-upload this back to my YouTube channel so you can watch. So it'll accept 50 amps right through until it's 100% charged. Whereas the AGM that I owned is 5-year-old, still works great. Once you got to 90%, man, it used to take like 2.5 hours to charge that last 10% because it's so slow. But what a change going to lithium is, guys. A lot of people say once you go to lithium you'll never go back, and oh boy, there's no way I could run any of this stuff with AGMs. This is just impossible. And the beauty is now, if I'm running my AAB twin compressor, I don't have to pop the bonnet and run off my car battery with the car running. I can run it off the lithium, because this lithium can sustain 150 amps draw out of it continuously, and peaks like 200, 250 or whatever. I think it's 175 amps for 5 minutes maximum. It might be 250 or 200 amps. I think it's 250 amps. I think you need to go on their website, confirm that for about 5 seconds. It can handle. Any more than that, then I think it just shuts down the BMS, and then you got to do all these stupid things too. I don't know what you got to do too. That's a fear too. I want to make sure I don't overdrive it, so I don't have to go through and do all this stupid stuff that you have to do to wake the BMS up so you use it. And that's another reason why I want to relocate it down there and go for DCS. I'm thinking that's what my thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of this, going to sell this high-tech world and get a DCS 200 amp. I'm thinking to do that, but depends how much they'll sell me one for, guys. It all depends who's going to give me a good deal, because whoever I'm going to get, I'm going to promote this product, promote their gear, and there'll be a lot of videos on it, so I expect something in return for doing that, to be honest. So I'll be approaching these two companies and see who's going to offer me a better deal. I've already got a pretty good deal with the DCS 200 amp through my electrician that I like to use down in Gold Coast. Auto electrician, I should add. He's the one that installed all of this for me and given me good advice. And he's Eddie from Marine Auto Electrician, whatever, down Gold Coast. And he loves Victron. He sells the Victron gear. He's offered me a pretty good deal on a DCS 2000. But he told me straight, if you go straight to DCS, they may even offer you a better deal. So I'll see what happens. I haven't spoken to him yet. But when I'm ready, I'm going to go approach him and talk to him. And I'll probably be able to talk to him in person because they're not too far away. Another thing too, guys, I'm going to have to do something about this. Look at this gap here. When it rains, water comes through there. So I'm going to get a bit of Velcro or something, or press studs to go across here. Another Velcro or something, or just tuck a piece of... I'll have to go and see Crazy Dog one day. Pull up over there, open this up, show him this. What can you do to cover this up so it won't take me ages to set up? So, and it's only because this thing here. So these guys that make these tough touring brackets, if they shorten this till it's right down here at least, that'll be a real improvement. Because I mean, you can slide this along. This will slide down, so it's closer. But somehow they got this gap through there. So it's something I'm going to deal with one day. Oh, I've been going for nearly 1 hour here. That's for house installation. 2 meters deep in the ground. Earth stake connected to chassis went off grey. Yeah, I know you told me about that, Ian, but honestly, this system here, the way it's designed, the way the earth is a bit technical. I don't know how they do it exactly. So as long as the earth is done correctly to the chassis of the vehicle, which I'm pretty sure this is, and I've got another electrician who's cluey in this stuff. He's going to come here and, well, he has to come here because I haven't paid for him all this stuff yet. He supplies, actually I bought all this, but this conduit thing, this switchboard, circuit breakers, the 240 volt cables, he dropped it over to me about 2 weeks ago. And this guy, he works 12-hour shifts, days, so he probably wouldn't be able to connect it for me for at least 2 weeks, and I want it up and running within 2 weeks because I'm going to plan on going camping with Stephen and Annie when they come up the Bundy soon. I think actually next week they're actually coming here, and I want to catch up with them. So I need all this stuff running by the weekend at the latest, and he's just absolutely no time. When the opportunity that this guy was able to do it, and he seemed like he knew what he was doing too, so to be honest. So yeah, and but this guy's real cluey, and he says, I've got RCD testers and that we can whack on there and just make sure it's a-okay and the earth is probably, but you got the earth done properly on this, 100% perfectly safe. Because think about it, what do all these people drive around in caravans, motorhomes, yachts, boats? You know, they're always using all this stuff. So it's designed to, somehow this thing is designed that, you know, it's all good when you got these things plugged into here. You know, you got a real good, nice earth, you know, off the power lead. But then you're solo camping, you got no power and you're running this. So you still got like 230, 240 volts coming out of this, and that's there. So somehow this thing actually then changes the earthing something so it earths off the chassis of the vehicle and makes it perfectly safe. And there's regulations, you've got to have specific types of, like it's a double pole. So that's a double pole. That there is like $60 just for that, because it's a specific one called double pole to make it safer. Same with these circuit breakers aren't too expensive. I mean, I've seen them for $60 each there. There's two there, but the guy's going to sell me these for $43 each, so it's virtually cost price. Because he's an electrician, he buys them at a reduced cost, and he's selling them at the whatever he whatever he gets them in at cost price, he's going to sell it to me for that. And that's like a waterproof container and everything as well. So yeah, and this one here, guys, I was talking about this. I can put this anywhere. It's waterproof. I could have this one outside here, one inside, one in the fridge, one in the freezer. Up to 4 or 5 of these I can connect. And all the data of this is sent right up to the portal. So, oh well, what have we gone on to? 1 hour, there you go. I think 1 hour is long enough. I don't know what time it is. I'm going to have to go in the house and cook up some food. I've got to cook up some food. So let me see if I can remember how this thing goes back to flip the camera around. And then I'm going to log out here. Flip camera. There we go. Hey! So, I don't know what you think of my little setup here. Mud Ducks 4-Dry Touring. Hi, how you going? So, it's awesome. I didn't think I'd have too many people on here this time of the day. Cool. Ring a mobile caravan repairer. Mate, you're wasting your time. I don't think there's a mobile caravan repairer here. But, guys, we got some pretty big... we got some... It's amazing. They sell a lot of caravans here in this town. We got like 3 or 4 caravan places. And if you had a look at them, you think you're in the city. They're just humongous. They got these big showrooms. They got like 50 caravans and all sitting there, brand spanking new for sale. And there's not just one, there's quite a few of them. They got these huge workshops. There's one literally a block or two just down here. It's a huge place to deal with caravans. Guys, I rocked up there and they are not interested whatsoever. Nope. They told me you got to go an auto electrician. That shows you how much I know. Auto electrician can't do this. The auto electrician can't wire up this 240 volt side of things. I went to so many electricians and just not interested. I don't know why, not interested. So it's only out of the blue yesterday that the guy who wired this up, he said, yeah, I could do that for you. So I'm so rapt to be able to get this thing up and running now. So Stephen, and any of you watching this thing will be, I didn't think the 240 volt will be operational by the time you get here, but it is now. So caravan places, not interested. And to be frank, they are not allowed to work on 240 volt. You have to be a qualified, certified electrician to do any work on 240 volt, even just to get a screwdriver and connect these in. As simple as that. We cannot do it. You have to be a qualified electrician. So those guys, what they do is they get electricians in. I don't know, maybe they've got, some of the bigger mobs may have electricians that they hire and they just pay for, but apparently there's a lot of cost involved. There's licensing fees that they have to pay, an ongoing licensing fee for that residence where they work in it. And of course they got the electrician to pay, and they usually source electricians in, but those guys, they're just not interested in doing anything with 4 drives. I've asked them, and they're just flat out busy. So they just go easier jobs, whatever, you know. Mind you, this was easy. I had everything all laid out. This was all mounted here, everything. The conduits was in place. This was mounted. The guy, all he had to do is get a screwdriver and connect it up, screw it in, and boom, it was done. So I had this mounted. I had that open for him. As soon as he said he could do it, I quickly raced in and I undid this and undid that and had this open and had everything laid out, and he just came in here, bang, 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 done. And he got out this tester and did a few tests and tested the earth and that. He said she's all good. It's all good. Excellent. The Bellman coffee maker, mate, that thing is unbelievable. I still use it. I still use it almost on a daily basis. And in fact, it works really good. I haven't showed you the induction cooktop that I've got yet, but it's designed for campers, 4 drivers. So when you turn it on, it actually starts up in a low power mode. So you're not hit with this bang, big sputter of amps. So it starts up at 500 amps, and you can set watts. So it starts at 500 watts, then you can go up to 1000 watts, and then 1500 watts, and I think the maximum is 1800 watts. It's even got a barbecue mode you can set as well. And not just that, you can actually adjust the temperatures on it. So you can actually go to 18 settings. So you can adjust temperatures down from about, 60 degrees Celsius up to 180 degrees on the plate itself. So it's really precise, and it works perfectly with that Bellman. So it's awesome. So I still use it, guys. I still use that after so many years and never had any issues with it. I always look after it, keep it clean. I still use that. So I should do an updated video on that as well one day. So, oh well, how many people we got watching? 12. It's the first time I've checked. I don't know if the numbers were more than that before. Most of them are qualified to install these. Yeah. So, go 2 meters deep into the ground, mate. Oh, you guys are talking about earths for houses or whatever, the rods. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how these work, but there's some way the earthing system makes it all work when you disconnect your output. So, and to be frank, I've been using it last night and earlier today without the power point plugged in, and I was cooking, heating up water for coffee and so on with the induction cooker, and I didn't have this powered in. I was just sitting here, standing here like this or so, touching this and that. I didn't get electrocuted, thank God. So, so guys, if there's no videos come out in the near future, there could be a hint why there. Touch wood, eh? I don't want to mention it so I end up jinxing myself. I know it's safe now because it's turned off. And not only that, let's go back to this killed tree. Not only that, guys, I like the big heavy duty switch so I can turn off all the power off that as well. So if I wanted to be 100% sure, I just got this big dial switch I turn off, and that disconnects the power, the DC, everything off it as well. Right now the AC is all turned off, but there's still DC going through there. But I can turn that off as well if I wanted. And to be frank, I have been up until not long ago. I noticed now I've been testing, everything seems to be working fine, so I've left the DC connected to it. Because then what I can do, if the DC is connected to it, I can go through here, go through the menu and turn that on. Or I can do it while I'm inside the house from my computer, from this, while it's sitting in the car. I can do that. Yeah, the stove is really good. In fact, I picked up a really good deal. It's funny, this stove, it's Australian. Okay, it's Australian. Obviously it's not made in Australia, but Australian design. It's designed just for campers. And I've been really rigorously putting it to the test. I've owned it for a little while now, and I've been using it in the house. And I'm really happy with it. It works really well. But I've seen it vary in price about $350. I kid you not. Don't ever pay that much for it. Right down to $110 for the same thing. Now, the reason I mention $110 is that's what I paid for it. I picked it up at the local camping store here, Bundy Outdoors. And I think it was a clearance. They wanted to get rid of it. And the bloke said, I asked him, how much you want for this? He said, you can have for $110. I said, sold. Bought it straight away. I've always wanted to own one. I wouldn't have bought it if it was like 300. So I went online and I was curious, you know, what are these things worth? And I went online, and if you go to the proper distributor for it, they're after about 350. But most places I've seen it selling for about $145, $150 and so on, and most of the places. But apparently they're hard to get. Apparently they're not easy to get, from what I've been told, that they sell pretty quick. So you should be able to pick it up for $140, $150. But I'll have a video out on that soon. So guys, my mum's watching me now. I've got to cook up some meal for her. She's hungry. Got no idea what time it is. I wasn't planning on being here this long. So I'm going to log off now. I'm going to put all this away and put this back in the garage. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining me. Keep an eye out for the videos soon. Going to be more detailed videos on this. First video I've got to do though is on the fridge slide, because I have to get a couple of videos out within 4 weeks of owning this, and it's approaching close to 4 weeks, so I need to get onto that first. So till then, cheers, look after yourself, eh? See yous. Yeah. How do we turn this off? Stop.
Yeah. What are you talking for?
Mum.